Hi.
Oh, we're recording already?
We're recording already. This is the first time you see me not in my pajamas, which is exciting. So it is 8:36 local time. I don't know what that is in American time.
7:36 or 1:36 in the morning, afternoon.
Oh.
Got there eventually.
I was like 7.
Oh.
I was excited. Anyways, it's the end of day 3, give or take, depending on how you want to count days. Anyways, today we went to the Vatican Museum.
It started off with me losing my sunglasses in the security checkpoint. That was the first thing that happened.
Listen, everything happens for a reason. But hard pass on the Vatican Museum. I've been to Rome before. I wonder if you have. Do you have different feelings then? Because I think we had a conversation about this after the fact. Because I'm going to give you a kind of TLDR. So you go through the Vatican Museum. There's like 4 miles of Vatican Museum, and this is museums that are totally dedicated to the art collection that the popes have collected throughout the years. And some of it is really great. There are about 4 rooms out of the entire collection that are aces. And plus you get to see the Sistine Chapel, which it's beautiful. It's magnificent. Like, it's all frescoes. Michelangelo did the entire ceiling in 4 years and like blinded himself doing it. Like, Raphael's just amazing work. The modern art is astounding. It's just gorgeous. But like, so anyways, you're supposed to go through the museum and get to the Basilica, which is, in my opinion, the crown jewel of St. Peter's, just like the entire Basilica. And we didn't do that. And I am disappointed and salty about it. And there were roughly 500,000 people there. Like, at one point, we were shuffling. It was hot and you are surrounded by people and they're all in various states of paying attention to like their headset or the stuff around them or to the people around them, which is all, or their cameras, which is all fair, but you get this really unpleasant experience, in my opinion. And like, I think it was 66 euros for the entire thing. We had a guide, which was great. Highly recommend. I love guides. I think they're great.
Make sure your headset works. Mine kept
Ezekiel.
cutting it in and out during portions of it, which was unfortunate because I certainly missed sections. Like, the shuffling section was actually, my headset was just not giving continuous feed. So I didn't hear anything about the map section, which was unfortunate, but that's where I grabbed a ton of photos because the painted maps were brilliant.
Yeah, like, there are these amazing rooms, which the map room which Ezekiel is talking about was kind of brought up, made by Pope Gregory, who did the Gregorian calendar and all this kind of stuff, because he was super big into astronomy and like maps and time and all this kind of stuff. Like, clearly the scientific pope. And that was really gorgeous. Like, you walk down this hallway and on either side there are maps of Italy, basically, like various sections of Italy. You're kind of walking down the Adirondacks, which is It's
basically like viewing Google Maps from. It's basically it's zooming in on Google Maps from the whole of Italy down to different stretches and different sections, but instead of it now, you're looking at it from the 1300s, something like that.
Was it 13 or was it 15?
Yeah, details escaped us.
But yeah, well, it's satellite view.
Yeah, and the detail on them was incredible.
Yeah.
You got sections and then smaller sections, and then there'd be a zoom in on cities, and
like Florence, or Rome. Yeah.
And I have to guess that the layout of the cities was accurate to that time. Like, you've got a walled city with the crazy non-grid system, like in Chicago, roads that they must have had, but it looks like it was drawn to whatever it actually was, so which is cool.
Yeah. So after you get past all of this nonsense, you go to the Sistine Chapel, which is really like just really astounding, but like it's filled with people. There's a dude on a microphone called they're the shushers. You're not supposed to take photos. People are taking photos anyways. And they were like, quiet, silencio, and everybody's talking. Like, and on one hand, like,
including us,
we were whispering. We were whispering. So, like, but it's supposed to be a holy place. Nobody gives a shit.
I would say that I would not have been able to appreciate it all had I not already had the, like, 10-minute description.
Yeah.
Even before the tour started,
Yeah, that was nice.
The tour guide took us at the entrance to the entire museum system, which is like in the meeting hall. There's a display screen. She like went through different panels and gave us descriptions of what was going on in those panels. Without that,
It would have just been
it would have been
pictures.
It would have been impressive and big and beautiful artwork, but I would have had no context and no way to appreciate what I was looking at, even though it was this magnificent thing. I know it's a magnificent thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is the problem that I had with a lot of the rest of the museum. Like, listening to a tour guide and having her talk through stuff with us was aces and important. But there is so much.
Oh, God, yeah. So here's the thing. You go through the Sistine Chapel, and there are two doors. One to the left and the one to the right. And the one to the right said group tours. That's where we got boned. Because if you go to the door to the right, which is not clearly marked, by the way, you go through and you end up in the Basilica, which is where I wanted to go. I wanted to go to the Basilica, and I wanted to go to the cupola, which is the big round dome on top, when you can climb it for like 8 or 10 euros, depending on if you want to take a lift or you want to take a stairs. Apparently there are 800 stairs, and quite honestly, I just want the Fitbit. Like, I want my Fitbit to register like 500 floors, and that's what I want to do. But also, I have strong feelings about the Catholic Church. I think most people should have strong feelings about the Catholic Church. But the stepping into St. Peter's is an experience. Like, you have to remember that the Catholic Church is great with PR, because they're in the time, you know, when they're really setting the foundation of the Catholic Church, when you're talking about kind of the Middle Ages, the Dark Middle Ages, you know, people are not literate. So what you need to do is you need to inspire. And you step in, and there's sunlight streaming, and it's just this magnificent, cool building. And it's just, you walk in and you believe in God. And like, that's a whole other like discussion. Or you want to believe that there is a greater power. I know.
It's an experience that I haven't had.
I know. So you can.
I'm not even challenging it. It's like, okay, that's what it should be. That's regardless of the religion, the context. Like, art that lifts people up to believe in anything.
Yeah, right.
The purpose of art. Yeah,
because we were having this discussion when we were outside at like, what is it called? St. Agnes? Like the church at the Piazza Nuovo. Where, you know, you walk, we just kind of stumbled across it after dinner, and it's very gilded. It's very like Rococo, and Ezekiel made a comment about like how it was different than the Baha'i Temple in Evanston, which is, when you step in, evokes a feeling. And when you step into this, it also evokes a feeling. And that's what it is meant to do. And which is why, like, and you can interpret that feeling as like, we are in the presence of a higher being, or you can interpret it as, look at humanity. Look at what man has made. Which I think is also very appropriate, and another feeling that is something that you should celebrate. So yes, that was the Vatican Museum. Oh, and so we walk out. Okay, so we walk out of the museum, And
I've gone through. I mean, because without taking the non-group exit, the group exit that led to the Basilica, we took the other one.
Yeah.
We would not have seen the modern art section.
Oh no, we would have.
Really?
Because the modern art was before the Sistine. The museum that we walked through was like the papyrus wing with the Egyptian motif, and
Are you?
I am
all the
100% positive of this.
Okay.
Because the modern art was before the Sistine Chapel.
We weren't with the group though.
I know, because she let us off, because you're not supposed to talk in the Sistine Chapel, so the guide dropped us off before the modern art part. So the rest was just like, look at my collection of stuff, isn't it neat? It's really interesting stuff, but also, like, the guide's like, if you take 2 minutes to look at every single exhibit in the museums, it would take you 12 years. And I would honestly believe it. And on the, and it's all, like, all the descriptions are in Italian, which is fine. But, I have no context.
That's a problem with us. That's not a problem with the place.
Exactly.
But it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of. It feels different than going to a curated museum, and maybe it shouldn't, but it does kind of feel like this is the collection of a bunch of stuff that wealthy people owned because they wanted to own stuff. And then after the fact, they're like, oh, what should we do with all this stuff? I guess we should show it off.
Yeah, it really is. Anyways. Send postcards, which is great.
Yeah,
Spoilers for people who are getting postcards from me.
Which would have been more problematic had we gone out the other way, because that is it led. We did get to the coat check, which I would have not taken like a $10,000 bet in my favor, but they had my sunglasses from the security checkpoint.
Yeah,
so,
which was really great. It's just like, what brand is your sunglasses? I was like, square, and he's like
square with blue edges. And he's like, here, I'm like.
So, I'm really, what? Maybe that was what was supposed to happen. Like,
we're going to try the Basilica tomorrow earliest in the morning to get there before all the crowds.
Because let me share something with you. We get out and we walk around, because it's a walled city, but you can walk around the walled city to St. Peter's, the piazza, the piazza, and there is a line that is probably 1.5 miles long in the sun. And I was like, I started crying. It's just like, I was so disappointed because I wanted to share it with Ezekiel. I wanted,
Sarah's part.
And Sarah's part.
I'm too.
So, TLDR. So here's the thing: was the Vatican Museum worth it?
It's really hard to say. It's really hard to go to a place like Rome, and the Vatican specifically, and not see significant things.
Yeah.
It's hard to say that you've gone, we've gone to the Vatican, we walked into St. Peter's Square, but that's it. We haven't gone to the Basilica yet.
Yeah.
We've gone to Rome and seen part of Vatican City and the Colosseum and the Forum. I don't know that it would have been very awkward to not have gone. In terms of the use of my time here, there are other things, like we spent we got there, we started at noon. The tour started at noon. Tour took, call it 2.5 hours. We, through walking around and dealing with postcards and dealing with my glasses, we got out of the museum at 4. At that point, we were walking into the square to see if we could get into the Basilica, which we're going to watch. So that's a 4-hour block of time. After we had a talk, we figured out our plan for tomorrow. We were going to try again. We just let's get some food. Yeah. Let's help out with the 20-minute walk, maybe a half hour from the Vatican to this restaurant, which was recommended to Sarah. Oh
yeah, shout out to Melissa. Thanks for the tip about Ostra. No, was it Tradovore or
it's
Del Amani?
I think it's Ostra del Amani, but
Ostra del Amani. But yeah, the pear pasta, A++. I had chicken alla Roma, which was also incredibly delicious. Hey, and my first glass of wine. Y'all can get all my nuts now. Got a nice glass of Shiraz.
I also had a glass of wine. I had a glass of Moscato.
Yeah, Moscato for dessert wine. Give me the sweetest thing wine on your menu, sir.
That half-hour walking through, not alleys, because I'm not really clear what an alley is in Rome, but like through non-heavy tourist things, plenty of small shops.
It was really nice.
Motorcycles, motorbikes, small cars driving past us. That was a better experience, I think, for both of us.
Yeah.
In terms of a half hour just walking around and getting to see stuff in a very different light. And I mean, we're also letting ourselves calm down. We know that we're going to food, which is always nice. But that was more worthwhile. Yeah.
So, like, I made this joke, like, I want to do this blog called, like, Traveling Introverts or something like that. We're, like, going through, what?
Introvert's Guide to Traveling.
Oh, yeah, that's Introvert's Guide to Traveling. Because, like, the depletion of spoons over those 4 hours was just astounding. Like, but, like, yeah, walking through the streets was great. It was a lot quieter. There was a lot less people. We kind of wove through what I would call like typical Italy, where it's a lot of cobblestone streets and very close buildings and just very quiet.
A lot of small storefront shops that like I have no idea how they do business without people literally stumbling onto them.
Yeah, it's really great. And that's kind of, and it just kind of sucks that there are these, you go to a place like Rome and there are these tourist places, like you want to see the Rome, you want to see the Colosseum, you want to see the Forum, the Palatine Hill, like why would you not? This is integral to the history of Rome, but there are 30,000 people there, all of which have like increased over the years, because the tour guide said something, and even in my previous experience, like even the Vatican Museums, when I went, which was maybe 8 or 10 years ago, it wasn't as bad as it was this time. Like, just astounding.
In fairness, we ate at the restaurant, which again, good. We then kind of were like, okay, I guess we're heading back to the apartment that the B&B they were staying. Like, oh, well, what's around? We can just walk this way. Oh, well, the Pantheon is on the way.
We got to see the Pantheon.
And then, even on the way to the Pantheon, we stopped at the
Piazza Nova,
which was
Niova.
And in terms of on our way, was out the exit to the road that we took.
It was really
right
nice.
next to the restaurant. It was
really
right there. We walked in. There were, it was beautiful. There were people. There was a clown doing, which we just missed. He was doing, I think, like a unicycle and flaming juggling. We then wanted,
Navona. There it is. It's right here on this hard rock.
Branded.
Yeah, branded welcome map of Rome.
So we go to the plaza, we just wander in, it's very nice. We look, oh, there's a church there, because there's obviously churches
everywhere.
Like, oh, there are people wandering in, I guess we just can. We go in, it is, again, Church of St. Agnes, I think.
Yeah. We saw her skull. It's in the little vestibule. They were like, oh, hey, go check it out.
It's smaller than I expected.
Very small. Like, I don't...
She was supposed to be 18?
Was she? I don't know.
Her sister, who...
Oh, was that the one 12 years old?
Also got sanctified because her sister was stoned to death when they tried to light a funeral pyre for St. Agnes.
Because the crazy pagans who...
Yeah. But so we go in to see that. It's gorgeous. It's nice to sit in. We then leave the church, leave the plaza, stop by the Pantheon, walk our ass in. I get called out by the information desk.
Oh, okay. So we're in there, and I'm like, hey, first of all, it's a giant dome, and they've turned it into a church because, of course, they have. And as you know, there is a big old hole in the top, and I was like, hey, there's no glass there, and he's like, what?
I looked at it. I thought, I'm like, there has to be glass. You can't just have it open.
And he's like, what happens when it rains? I was like, they just don't sit there. And he's like, hold on.
I went to go ask at the little information kiosk. I'm like, there's no glass there? And the person's like, no. What are you doing? And she's like, it gets inside.
And that was it.
Yeah, I'm like, I mean,
so
yeah, fair. There are holes. There are 22 holes
Yeah,
in the floor that drains into.
What I didn't remember, and she didn't tell him, was that it's not like it just sits on the floor. There are drains, so it drains in. It's the tomb of. Oh, go ahead.
Okay.
It's the tomb of Raphael, and it's the tomb of Umberto I and Emmanuel II, which are the first king of Italy and the second king of Italy. Emmanuel II. Oh yeah, and Margherita. Well, the pizza is named after. The second Emmanuel II unified Italy, 1861, if I remember correctly, and yeah, and the Pope was like, I don't buy this unified Italy thing. Strong feelings. Oh, she was like, the guide at the tour to the Vatican was like, how many popes have there been? 266 for the record. And I go up to her afterwards. I was like, do they count the French ones? She's like, no. It's like, no one does. During the Great Schism of the 14th century, when there were like 17,000 popes, when everybody's like, yeah, sure, why not? We got gelato. I got banana and cinnamon gelato, and I mixed it. Banana bread. Delightful.
Yeah, that again, wandering around was great.
Yeah.
Being able to just, like, not being dependent on just seeing. There's so much to see. Checking Google Maps, you can go a block and find something from casually 350 AD to walk into, and it's all impressive. It's all amazing. And we don't have to face crowds to do stuff like that. Like, the tour guide, for the rooms that we went through with the tour guide, where I could hear them, it's great because you have context for what you're experiencing in the Vatican Museum. In the places that we were just shuffling through because it was too crowded, or we couldn't hear, or after we left the tour guide and it was just us, it's just like, I don't know what I'm looking at other than, artifacts that are made out of gold and silver from hundreds of thousands of years ago. They're worth a lot of money and they're very impressive. Every single room that we went to that wasn't being renovated has murals and frescoes and paintings on the floors. And see, every room is a 360-degree piece of art with stuff in it. Sometimes casually with a gift store in it.
How many?
There were several that we passed through. I think we saw at least a half dozen different gift stores during our walk. I think a lot of space, like
they do have a lot of space.
But it doesn't mean anything without some amount of understanding.
Yeah.
And it's like, if we got all this, knowing you're walking into this room is like every square foot that I'm looking at is painted or is gilded or like, and we know each panel has to have some really deep meaning about, like, oh, this is, a trick that he was playing on the Pope because he didn't like the guy, or this is the self-insertion of the artist, or this is the allegorical story that we're saying.
The butt on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel.
Right over where the Pope sits.
The sun and the moon, when God created, it's cool. But
right.
Also,
information.
Yeah, also great, yeah. Like,
but you walk into another place and you're like, it's there. It's like being a child, I guess, where it's like, I know stuff is going on, I know it has meaning, but I don't have context or understanding for it, and I'm aware of that lack. And without it, it's just going on around me, and I kind of am stuck inside it as it's happening.
Yeah, how many children, and like, no shade, because I went to Europe when I was 16 and an asshole, and it was a completely wasted experience on me. But I, like, going through the Vatican, like, the parents, well, I think children get in free.
The Sistine Chapel had a row of benches.
The kids are just playing on their phones. And, like, on one hand, I can't give anybody shit over that. Like, they're children. If you're trying to be like, okay, let me explain to you the Sistine Chapel. You are 10 to 12 years old. And I'm like, what? Like, it makes sense. Again, at least they're quiet. At least they're the ones being silent.
Without the tour guide's information ahead of time, how much time could we have spent in that room appreciating it and not gotten, like, okay, I've seen it. I've gotten the visual. I can't do anything else with that information, so I'm not just in here.
Yeah. Like, oh, I'm going to explain contextually to Michelangelo.
If we knew the history of every single, like, we got a good explanation of what we were looking at, but if we'd got an in-depth explanation of here's the story of every single panel, we would have looked at every single panel and taken time to appreciate it.
Yeah. Anyways.
Museum tour.
Out of 5.
Know what you want to get out of it. Out of 5, for me, 3, and that's being generous because I feel like I should appreciate it. 2.5 in terms of like what I got out of it from my time, which is a reflection on me.
Yep. So tomorrow is so what? Scoot in.
Hey kids, we're here to rap with you.
Hey kids, I'm here as a condition of my parole. I'm here to yeet with you. Yeah, it is a really long video. Okay, to wrap up, tomorrow, what are we doing? Oh, we're
getting up ass early to try and get to the Basilica.
We're trying to try and do the Basilica, yeah. And then tomorrow, like, after that, it's pretty much free until we have a sunset bike tour.
It's 4:30, which, given what we've seen from sunset, seems early.
It's just like a 6.5 hour bike ride. But that should be fun. I'm excited to go tour the streets with somebody who's local. Yeah. A bike ride and like kind of restaurant eating tour. Yeah, he's like street food. That's the sell here that he I'm still concerned about the streets. I'm still actually concerned about biking with this. Do we need to bring our helmets? I think they say I don't think he said anything. We'll check. We'll check. Anyways, thanks for listening to like almost 30 minutes of us rambling about the Vatican Museums because everybody needs that. Oh my gosh. Listen, I made videos about making coffee this morning and they're still uploading. Okay, so we're wrapping it up. This is Sarah. This is my sunburn. And this is Ezekiel. And you can't see Ezekiel's sunburn because it's on the back of his neck. Yeah. Ciao.